She hesitated at the top of the stairs, staring down into the inky blackness below. She had never liked basements. They always seemed to harbor a sense of malevolence, a place where the darkness was thicker, more oppressive. But the whispers were calling to her, drawing her down. Taking a deep breath, she descended the stairs, her flashlight beam cutting through the gloom. The basement was a cavernous space, filled with old furniture and forgotten relics covered in dust and cobwebs. The air was cold and damp, carrying the scent of mold and decay. Emma swept the beam of her flashlight across the room, her heart racing. The whispers were louder here, almost a tangible presence. They seemed to be coming from an old trunk in the corner, covered in a thick layer of dust. She approached the trunk, her hands shaking. The whispers seemed to coalesce, forming words she could almost understand. She reached out and brushed the dust off the lid, her fingers leaving trails in the grime. With a deep breath, she opened the trunk. Inside, she found a collection of old journals and photographs, yellowed with age. She picked up one of the journals and opened it, the pages brittle under her fingers. The handwriting was her grandmother's, the looping script familiar yet unsettling. As she read, a chill ran down her spine. The journal spoke of strange occurrences in the house, of shadows that moved on their own and voices that whispered in the dark. Her grandmother had written of a presence in the house, something ancient and malevolent that watched and waited. The last entry was dated the day before her grandmother's death. It read, "I fear I have awakened something that should have remained buried. It watches me now, from the shadows. I can hear its whispers, calling to me. I pray that whoever finds this journal heeds my warning. Leave this house, before it claims you too." Emma's hands shook as she closed the journal. The whispers were louder now, a cacophony of voices rising from the walls. She backed away from the trunk, her mind racing. She had to leave, had to get out of the house before it was too late. She turned to run up the stairs, but the basement door slammed shut, plunging her into darkness. Panic surged through her. She pounded on the door, screaming for help, but her voice was swallowed by the oppressive darkness. The whispers grew louder, filling her mind, drowning out her thoughts. She could feel a presence behind her, cold and malevolent. Slowly, she turned, her flashlight flickering as she did. Standing in the shadows was a figure, its form indistinct and shifting. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural light, and its whispers filled her ears. She backed away, her heart pounding in her chest. The figure moved closer, its presence overwhelming, suffocating. Desperate, she swung the flashlight at the figure, but it passed through it as if it were made of smoke. The figure reached out, its cold hand brushing her cheek. She screamed, the sound echoing through the basement. The last thing she saw was the figure's glowing eyes, filled with a terrible hunger. When the storm finally passed, the house on Blackwood Lane stood silent and empty, its secrets buried once more. The townsfolk whispered of the girl who had moved in and vanished without a trace, another victim of the house's curse. The house remained, waiting for the next soul to claim, its whispers calling out to those who dared to listen.